craziest deadline you've ever had? And how did the boss and you make sure that got done?
Well, it wasn't the boss and me, because the boss was the producer in two cases. One of the cases was a USA Network movie that fell apart. They had on their schedule, you know, when you're dealing with a cable company like HBO or Showtime or Cinemax or USA Network or Lifetime or Sci-Fi Channel, they have a big board that shows you what movies are playing on their, you know, for each. These days, I guess you'd probably know about TV movies from Sci-Fi Channel and Sharknado. So it's like when they scheduled Sharknado 2, they put it on the board for it's going to show this night at this time. And I had a movie on it wasn't my movie. There was a movie on USA Network that was on their big board that fell apart. And so I got a call from a producer who said they had a movie that fell out at the last moment. We need to make the movie for them. What are we going to make? And so I went in and pitched ideas to them, and they had a location. That was the interesting thing, is they had a location called the Orcutt Ranch in the Valley, which is a gigantic orange orchard with a hacienda on it and all kinds of cool stuff. It's a city, you know, city owns it, and they rent it out for basically weddings. And so I toured the property, went back, pitched 3 or 4 ideas. They picked one, and after they picked the idea, they said, you have 12 days to turn in your first draft, and here's the catch. The first draft is going out to talent. So the actors were going to try to get to take reduced wages on this film, not what they get paid, but less than that, are going to be reading your 12-day first draft. And I said, okay. And I wrote the script in 10 days, had 2 days left over to do a rewrite. And that's my suggestion for anyone working on an insane deadline, is always leave 2 days to do a rewrite, no matter what the insane deadline is, because those 2 days, I made that script 1,000,000 times better than the first draft. And it went out. They cast a Oscar-nominated actress in the female lead to work way below her rate. And, you know, that it ended up being cool. The other one was even worse, was a Roger Corman movie I did about robot hookers from outer space. And I had 9 days to write it. The film was shot in 9 days, and it played on Showtime for 9 days. Corman had a deal with Showtime at the time. Played on Showtime for 9 days. So it was 9 days to write, 9 days to shoot, 9 days on Showtime. Then it was out of there. But it was that was interesting because it was going to be done on a really low budget, Corman, and it had to be about. I went in and it started out. I had a script that was very much like Blade Runner, a female lead Blade Runner story about the world of robot rights, and a lawyer who's fighting for robot rights who gets murdered, and one of the suspects is a male robot escort. And so the female detective goes to interview the male robot escort, who's known as a pleasure droid, which, by the way, I coined that phrase. And Entertainment Weekly managed to say, you know, pleasure droids, you know, which from my movie. And then they went through and reviewed a whole bunch of other movies that had to do with sex robots. But pleasure droids, on my tombstone, I invented that phrase. After pitching my story to Corman's people, they said, can it be about robot hookers from outer space? And I said, does it have to be outer space? They said, yes. And I said, does it have to be hookers? And they said, yes. And I said, does it have to be robots? And they said, yes. I said, okay, I can do it. And they said, 9 days. And so I had basically 9 days to write that script. And it turned out okay. It is what it is. It is a movie about robot hookers from outer space with all of the things you can imagine that might be. It's not a serious film at all. And the problem was, like, Corman's people thought it was. So the video packaging is hysterical because they try to turn a story about robot hookers from outer space into a serious threat against our lives because these robot hookers from outer space are here now. And I'm like, this is just silly because it's robot hookers, man. It can't be serious. My idea was to do the ultimate boob job. The whole robot hooker's a boob. And, you know, they walk into walls in the script. There's all kinds of funny stuff. And some of the jokes got cut out because they wanted a serious movie about robot hookers from outer space, which neither the director nor I could figure out what that movie might be. But 9 days. I wrote it in 9 days, director shot it in 9 days.